Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at a device that, well, it really seems built to tackle the issues serious users have with a lot of high-end wearables. We are diving deep into the HUAWEI Watch Ultimate 2. The sources paint this not just as another smartwatch, but more like an engineering feat designed for some pretty extreme places.
That's a good way to put it. Looking through the material, the mission seems clear. They're trying to build something for people who are really into exploration, need something tough, but still want that luxury feel.
Right.
So our goal here isn't just, listing specs. It's understanding the tech thinking behind it. What makes this thing actually capable of handling more than your average premium watch?
Okay, let's get into that, because calling it ultimate suggests, well, no cutting corners, right? This isn't just for a casual swim or a muddy trail. We're talking gear for serious divers, climbers, people really out there. So let's start with the build. The case. It's described as this mix of toughness and luxury. Most top watches use steel, maybe titanium. What's HUAWEI doing that makes it a bold statement, as they say?
Well, what's interesting is they seem to have borrowed from high-end traditional watchmaking. They went with zirconium-based liquid metal for the case itself.
Liquid metal. Okay, that sounds pretty sci-fi.
It does sound a bit exotic, doesn't it? But functionally, it's quite smart. Think about titanium strong, yes, but it can still corrode, especially with lots of saltwater exposure or even, say, very acidic sweat over time.
Okay.
This zirconium liquid metal, it's not just incredibly strong. The sources say it has much better resistance to wear and corrosion compared to typical alloys. It's a choice that really aims to make the watch last longer in those harsh conditions.
So it's not just a fancy name. It actually tackles a real problem, materials breaking down in the environments it's supposedly designed for. They want it looking good even after you pull it out of the ocean.
Precisely. And that idea, blending looks and function, carries through to the front, too. You've got the sapphire glass display, pretty standard for scratch protection at this level, but still crucial.
Definitely need that.
But utility is really key when you're actually using it out there.
Oh, I know what you mean. Trying to jab at a tiny touchscreen with wet fingers or gloves on. It's just frustrating. You need actual buttons, something you can feel.
And that's where the physical design comes in. The 1.5-inch AMOLED screen looks stunning, apparently very crisp and bright, which you need in harsh sunlight or underwater.
Right.
But navigating relies a lot on physical controls. The rotating crown, the side buttons, they're designed for really good tactile feedback, so you can scroll menus, zoom maps, select things confidently, even if your hands are cold, wet, or you've got gloves on. It seems simple, but in tricky situations, that responsiveness is vital.
Makes sense. And speaking of tricky situations and harsh environments, that takes us right to the deep sea stuff. This seems to be what really sets it apart from, well, almost everything else in the premium smartwatch space.
It really does. Most competitors, they're rated for maybe 50 meters, perhaps 100. That usually means they'll survive a bit of snorkeling or swimming.
Yeah, recreational depths.
But the Watch Ultimate 2, it's rated for depths up to a pretty staggering 150 meters. That's not just water resistant. It's built to handle the intense pressure of serious technical diving.
150 meters.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. Is that just a lab figure, or can you actually use it down there?
It's certified and engineered for that pressure. The sources really hammer this point. It positions the watch as one of the most robust dive computers available in a smartwatch form factor. It has specialized dive modes, tracks complex metrics, stuff you just don't see on regular fitness watches.
Okay, but the thing that really made me pause and reread was the safety tech they built into that depth capability. Communication underwater is the big challenge for divers, right? How are they tackling that?
This is the really clever bit. They've included sonar-based underwater communication.
Sonar?
Yeah, think about it. Radio waves, Bluetooth, useless underwater. Water just absorbs the signal almost immediately.
Right.
But sonar uses sound pulses.
Like the submarine finding things. Okay.
Exactly. They've managed to miniaturize that concept so divers with compatible watches can send preset messages or alerts to each other while they're down there.
Preset messages, so not like texting.
No, the bandwidth is super low. You're not sending paragraphs, but you can send critical signals. Things like, go up now, or I'm low on air, or just a general emergency alert.
Wow. Okay, that fundamentally changes things for group dives, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It takes it from being a silent, kind of isolated activity to something coordinated.
Yeah.
That feels like a massive step for safety.
It's a phenomenal feature, yeah. And it really underscores their focus on genuine exploration needs. But while they're focused on depth, they haven't ignored, horizontal travel either. When you're way off the grid deep canyon, dense forest GPS signals can get really flaky.
Which means your tracking goes wonky and your route data is basically useless.
Right. So to combat that, this watch supports multiple global satellite systems. The idea is even if one system's view is blocked by terrain or weather, others can maintain a lock. Keeps the signal stronger, more reliable.
Okay, multi-band GPS is becoming more common.
True, but they also mention new AI-based algorithms for analyzing the data collected.
Ah, the AI buzzword. What's the AI actually doing here that my old GPS watch didn't? Is it just smoothing the track?
It's a bit more than just smoothing. The claim is the AI uses neural network processing to filter out noise, those small, jerky movements that happen when you're scrambling over rocks or maybe swimming against chop.
Right, the little zigzags that aren't real travel.
Exactly. So it aims to provide a cleaner, more accurate route and therefore better calorie burn estimates too. Makes the data you get more meaningful for actual training or navigation, not just a rough sketch.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's pull back from the extreme adventure stuff for a moment to something more, well, daily. Health monitoring. Section 3 covers this and is also generally strong here, but the challenge is getting accurate data when someone's moving intensely or, again, in extreme conditions.
Absolutely. And the sensor suite covers the bases we expect now. Heart rate, blood oxygen or BDOX, stress, sleep quality, all that. But the key detail they highlight is the engine behind it. TrueScene 5.5 plus technology.
TrueScene 5.5 plus Phi. Okay, more branding. What does the P plus me actually mean in practice? Is it better sensors, smarter software?
It seems to be both. Hardware-wise, it usually implies improved sensor optics, maybe better skin contact or light paths to reduce interference. Software-wise, it ties back to those AI algorithms we just talked about. They're used heavily here too to filter out noise from movement.
So the goal is accurate readings during the chaos, not just when you're sitting still.
Precisely. Getting reliable heart rate during intense interval training or accurate BDOX when you're dealing with pressure changes underwater, that's the focus. Accuracy under duress.
That BDOX monitoring is really relevant for the explorer types, right? High altitude, deep dives, BDOX levels are critical safety numbers there.
Exactly. And they're pushing beyond just fitness metrics, kind of blurring the lines into medical device territory. The watch apparently supports continuous ECG monitoring.
ECG, okay.
And it can alert you if it detects irregular heart rhythms.
Now, that's interesting. How does the accuracy or, say, the certification of that ECG occur to other dedicated medical wearables? Have they got FDA approval or anything similar mentioned?
The sources emphasize medical-grade insights, but don't explicitly confirm full FDA clearance in the materials we reviewed. However, the capability for continuous monitoring and alerts is significant. It's a major safety net.
Yeah, I can see that.
Think about someone trail running alone, maybe hours from help. Having that extra layer of insight into your heart's rhythm, it provides a sense of security. It confirms the device you trust for maps is also watching out for your physical well-being.
Okay, let's shift gears to how this all works in the real world, the untethered life, as the outline puts it. Supporting all this tech, the sensors, the bright screen, GPS, maybe sonar. Maybe it must just chew through battery power.
Which brings us nicely to Section 4, and honestly, this is probably the single biggest point where it challenges competitors, whether you're looking at an Apple Watch Ultra or a top-tier Garmin.
How so?
Well, first, connectivity. It has eSIM cellular calling. That means total independence from your phone if you want it. Go for a run, a climb, leave the phone behind, and you can still make calls, get messages, stream music.
How's the call quality typically on these tiny wrist speakers, though? Always a bit hit or miss.
The reviews suggest it's actually quite good. They seem to have put effort into the microphone setup to handle background noise well, so you could probably take a call mid-hike without it sounding awful. That independence is key for adventurers.
Okay, but let's tackle the elephant in the room, battery life. You've got potentially continuous ECG, GPS running, that bright AMOLED, cellular maybe pinging. How can it possibly last 2 weeks? That sounds almost too good to be true. Are they throttling features?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The sources do confirm it can last up to 2 weeks on a single charge with what they call typical use.
Ah, typical use, the asterisk.
Always. But the fact remains, even with that caveat, this figure just blows most competitors out of the water. Many rivals struggle to get past 2 or 3 days with similar features enabled.
Right.
So the optimization, the power management system, it must be seriously efficient. Even with heavy GPS and cellular use for extended periods, reports suggest it holds up vastly better than others.
So, Maybe a real-world heavy user, say a diver using dive modes and GPS, gets maybe 7 to 10 days instead of 14.
Hmm.
Even that is leagues better than charging every night or every other night.
Absolutely. That kind of flexibility is huge if you're genuinely off-grid for extended periods.
That difference is massive.
And when you do need to charge, it has fast charging. Apparently, just a few minutes on the charger gives you enough juice for a full day's use, minimizes downtime, great for someone who might only get brief access to power.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, we've got the tough, corrosion-resistant liquid metal body, the crazy 150-meter depth rating, that potentially life-saving sonar chat, advanced health tracking, and battery life that seems almost unbelievable. What's the final word on this piece of engineering?
Yeah, synthesizing it all. The watch apparently feels quite cohesive day to day, handles notifications, music, syncs well with the Huawei Health app, the usual stuff.
So it works as a regular smartwatch, too.
Right. But the big takeaway really is that it's a device built with serious purpose. It's premium, yes, but it seems to deliver technically for those who need the absolute highest specs for durability and function. It pulls off that tricky balance between rugged, potentially life-saving utility and everyday wearability.
It sounds like they didn't just make a flagship smartwatch. They made a flagship and then added like 5 layers of extreme condition proofing. And while the reviews confirm it's definitely not cheap,
Not at all.
it seems they're justifying that cost with genuine material science and unique tech, not just branding.
I think that's fair. If your lifestyle or work genuinely involves harsh environments, or if you're just utterly fed up with charging your watch constantly, this device really does seem to carve out its own niche. It feels like it's about solving hard engineering problems, not just ticking feature boxes.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. We've heard about this watch handling 150 meters of water pressure, communicating via sonar. Real, extreme stuff. Now that this blend of luxury materials and potentially life-critical tech exists, does it fundamentally change the game? Does it raise the bar for what all high-end wearables should offer? Should every ultimate device be ready for the absolute extremes, pushing them to include safety features far beyond mere convenience?
It certainly makes you look at other premium watches and wonder about their definition of durable or pro, doesn't it? Something to think about next time you're just checking your steps on the way to the office.
Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.
Until next time.